Hello and welcome back to my channel. I have now got a baby. So 4 weeks ago I had my little baby boy called Archie, who is now 10 pounds. He was 8 pounds when he was born. He was now 10 pounds. So he's a little chunky monkey and doing really well. I just wanted to jump on here and talk about my birth story because first of all, I love watching birth stories, and second of all, I loved watching birth stories throughout my pregnancy, so I thought I'd do one. And second of all, loads of my clients are asking about my birth story. So I thought instead of telling everybody individually about my birth story, I'll just do a little video, put it on my YouTube, and then send people there. I have to feed him in a minute. He's doing feeding cues, of course. So anyway, let's get back into it while he is feeding. He's not even feeding, he's just asleep on my boob, and that's his favourite position to be in. He likes it, so yeah. So I thought I would just jump on here and talk about my birth story. And to be honest, it was an absolutely textbook birth. It was everything that I wanted, and for that I'm eternally grateful. I also had the most amazing midwife. She was only 22, but she was amazing. She listened to me, she heard me, she made me feel seen, and just very safe, super calm. So yeah, it was amazing, and she was amazing. I'm very grateful for that. So let's get into it. So his due date was on the 19th of June, and we had him on the 18th of June, which is really cool because I actually thought that I'd probably go overdue, especially as I took a month off work before he came, or before his due date, because I thought I actually just want some time out to sort of just, process everything, get my head around it all, prepare and stuff like that. So I thought it would be sod's law that he actually comes late, and I end up having like 6 weeks off work. But anyway, he came pretty much bang on time, one day early. So I've actually got my laptop here in front of me with my notes. So I actually started writing notes. This is so me. I actually started writing notes while I was in labour because I wanted to remember everything that had happened and sort of look back on it. So if I'm looking over here, it's because I'm looking at my notes on my laptop. So on the 17th of June, I woke up with very mild backache and like lower backache and sort of period cramps. So it's so mild, so I didn't even take painkillers. I was like, that's interesting. And I just remember feeling so relieved, because if you are pregnant or you've been pregnant, towards the end of your pregnancy, you get really uncomfortable. And now that I know I had a big baby, now I know why I was so uncomfortable, because I'm not that big. And he was quite big, so that also makes sense. It was really hot, and yeah, I was just like really uncomfortable. My body hurt so much. So 17th of June in the morning, really mild cramping. Got a hot water bottle, put a hot water bottle on my back. Thought, maybe this is it. And they went away. I thought, I'm being silly. I didn't even know if it was in my head. It's like they were that mild that I thought maybe it was just in my head. And then they came back in later, same, just as mild, like not even as bad as period pains, just something I could feel. I could just feel it. And then I thought, okay, maybe. And then my mucus plug went at 6 p.m. that day. So on Tuesday 17th, my mucus plug went. Again, I wasn't 100% sure if it was that, but then, yeah, without going into detail, it was. So that was really exciting as well. And then what happened? Yeah, and then we went to bed at normal time and woke up to my waters breaking at midnight, literally, midnight. And again, I felt really calm. Like I was really apprehensive about labour, really apprehensive about birth, and I was just really calm. I was like, okay, we're doing this. Woke up my partner and told him, and we were all ready to go and packed up the car, and Oh, I should say at this point, you're thinking, why are you going to hospital when your water's broke? So I wasn't in labour at this point, or maybe I was actually. Maybe I actually was in labour. I'll tell you why I think I might actually have been in labour, because in a minute. But I tested positive earlier on in my pregnancy for strep B, which is a virus, I think, like bacteria. Like 50% of women have it. It's really normal. It's really common. I don't know why it's not regularly tested in pregnant women, but I had to have a swab earlier on in my pregnancy for something else, and yeah, it came back that I was strep B positive, which is fine. But when they told me, they basically said you're going to as soon as your water's break, you'll have to go onto an antibiotic drip. And I was really obsessed about that because I had plans to like labour at home for as long as possible, and I didn't want to go to hospital as soon as my water's broke. But anyway, turns out that I was happy to go to the hospital as soon as my water's broke, because I knew that I would kind of be in safe hands, and so anyway, went to hospital. At this point I was having no contractions, so I was all really super chilled out. It was midnight. Got into triage and had a midwife a midwife who didn't really know what she was doing try and put a cannula in my hand and couldn't get it in. It was all actually just really traumatic. And yeah, I mean, I did hypnobirthing and she used a lot of negative language, and yeah, it wasn't very helpful, to be honest. But anyway, she wanted to examine me, and again, I did all my hypnobirthing stuff. I didn't want to be examined. I didn't feel the need to be examined at that point because I wasn't in. I didn't think I was in labour. I probably was actually in labour, but I didn't think I was. Anyway, and then about 5 minutes later, I had a contraction. And probably in the first hour we were there, I had 2 contractions, so whatever, nothing really exciting. And then something happened. They came thick and fast. After that first hour, they came thick and fast. I was having 5 to 6 contractions every 10 minutes. I wasn't getting any rest in between each contraction. It was wild. There was no build up, which is why I think maybe the really light cramping on Tuesday throughout the day was actually labour, maybe, but it was so light. So yeah, I basically skipped the latent phase, the nice early phase of labour that builds up, and went straight into full-on established labour. And my partner was saying to this midwife, so it must have been like, I've actually got my notes here. Obviously stopped writing my notes at some point. Must be about, I've probably got all the timings wrong, let's say 3 a.m. So my partner says to this midwife, like, my partner is like in full-on labour, and she was like, no, I don't think she is. And I was screaming, and she was like, well, I'm not going to send her anywhere until until I get examined. So I was just like, fine, examine me. At this point I still didn't have the antibiotics in, so I was actually getting quite worried because time was passing, and I was told to get to the hospital ASAP as soon as my water broke. So I was like, I need these antibiotics. But anyway, she examined me and I was 3 centimetres dilated, and she, sure enough, sent me up to the delivery suite straight away. And we went up 1 floor in a lift, and I had 3 contractions on the way up there. 3 contractions in like 3 minutes. There was no rest in between my contractions. Honestly, there was no rest. And then what happened? I got up to the delivery suite, and I was met with another midwife, and she was like, I'll get you gas and air, like shouting like, I'll get you gas and air. And I was like, I don't want gas and air. That was in my birth plan. Never even got my birth plan out, by the way. I didn't need to, actually. I was like, I don't want gas and air. But I did want an epidural. I decided that I wanted an epidural. So we asked for an epidural straight away because they can take a long time. I've heard so many horror stories where women are in labour for like 24, 48 hours wanting an epidural and can't get one because it's not available to them. So so an epidural came within about 10 minutes, which I was so relieved and grateful for. And I have no idea what time this is now. Let's say it's 4 in the morning now. 5 in the morning. Epidural came and it was incredible. The pain just went and I just sat there. One of the midwives was like, do you want to listen to some music or do something? I was like, no, I'm good. I was just sat there staring at a wall in bliss. It was amazing. My partner at this point had got a crash mat and was on the floor having a nap. He was like, do you mind if I have a nap? I was like, no, go for it. I am loving life right now. So time passed, hours passed, whatever. At 8 a.m, and it was 8 a.m. because that's when the midwives do their handover. 8 a.m, I had my amazing midwife Mia came in, and she was like super calm, and she actually had a student midwife with her. And in my birth plan, I had said that I didn't want a student midwife, but I didn't really know she was a student midwife, and also they were so calm and respectful, it didn't matter. So they were there, and Mia said to me, Mia was the main midwife, said to me, like, what's your plan? Like, what do you want? Like, what's going on? How are we doing this, basically? And I just said to her that I didn't want to birth on my back. So with the epidural, you can top it up yourself. I didn't know this, but you can basically put on as much pain relief as you want, or not top it up very much at all, which is great, because actually a lot of people think that you have to birth on your back and you can't walk and you have to have a catheter and stuff like that, but I didn't have to have any of that. I could still walk, so I was taking myself to the loo, and yeah, it was amazing. So I told her I didn't want to birth on my back. She asked me about the injection after birth, which basically helps the placenta come out. I can't remember what it is. It vitamin K? I'm not sure. Don't know. And I said, are there any risks to, what are the risks kind of thing? I always ask what the risks are. She said there aren't any really. And she said it's good if you're bleeding a lot to have the injection and just get the placenta out. So I said, yeah, it's fine. Like, if that's what needs to happen, then that's what needs to happen. I said to her, I'm not against any intervention if it's absolutely necessary. I obviously didn't want forceps or anything like that, or a cesarean or anything like that. But if the baby was at risk, or I was at risk, then go for it. Was kind of my thought behind that. And what else? That's it really. So some more hours passed, and I decided to get off the bed and actually get onto the birth ball, and start doing some hip rotations and let gravity start doing its thing. So sort of after I give myself a few hours of of breathing space after those contractions, I got on the birthing ball and started doing some movements on there that I'd been doing in the lead up to my labour as well. And I could start feeling the contractions coming back, and they weren't as bad as what they were, but I could feel them. So I had my epidural topped up, and that still didn't do anything. And then I think I had it topped up again, and then I think the contractions went away. But I remained on the ball, moving as much as I could, because gravity does its thing and helps the baby get down. So he does this thing where he feeds and then he just likes to fall asleep on my boob, and I just let him because he's calm. And I think I was probably examined again, and I was maybe 6 centimeters. And so the midwife was like, I'll examine you again in 4 hours time, and then in 4 hours time I was 9, and then she basically said, and at this point another midwife came in who had been on maternity leave, and it was her first day back, and she was also so lovely, really kind of like, she was into physiological, oh my god, baby brain, physiological births, which I wasn't having because I had an epidural, but I kind of wanted as much of that as I could as well with having an epidural. So I wanted to kind of, move around and stuff like that, work in my body as much as I could. So she came in, she was amazing, and my main midwife just said, in an hour's time, we'll probably start pushing. And I remember saying to her, cool, but I really don't know how to push. Like, I don't know how to push. She's like, it's okay, don't worry, like we'll coach you through it and we'll do some practice pushing and stuff like that. It was all just so calm. There was none of this like push, like craziness. It was all just so calm and controlled. And what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Oh yeah. So she told me to, or she advised me that it might be a good idea to let the epidural start to wear off, so that I could feel the contractions and work with my body to get the baby out, and also sort of feel where I'm pushing as well. So I did exactly that. So I let the epidural wear off, so I could feel the contractions and I knew when to push. So I think we tried a lot of different positions. I was in a squat position for a while on my side, and I was pulling this, we had a bar on the bed, and I was pulling this towel to sort of engage my core and really, I don't really know what it does, embrace and push. So that hour went by and she was like, right, let's just start trying, and she coached me through it. I could feel each contraction. I did 3 pushes with every contraction. And I remember the first one, feeling a little bit like, oh, I don't know if I'm doing it right. And then sort of by the 3rd or 4th attempt of pushing, I was like, okay, I understand now. I understand sort of what I'm doing. And every time I was pushing, they were like, we can see the head. And that was obviously really encouraging. It was hard work. Pushing is really hard work. It's exhausting, and I used everything I had in my body to push. It's tiring, it's really, really hard. So I think, I started off in a squat position, being supported by the midwives with like a towel around my back. They were kind of holding me up. And I think his head came out while I was in the squat position. And let me tell you that when you feel that head come out, I have obviously never felt anything like it, but Jesus Christ, it is so something else. It is so painful. It is like stingy, painful. Actually I panicked a little bit. I was like, oh my god, this is horrendous. But I was pushing for ages, and on that last push I just went, fuck it, and pushed, and his head came out. And then I think I changed positions and I got onto my side. And when I was on my side, I was basically curling up. Every time a contraction came and I was pushing, I was pulling on this towel or sheet or whatever it was, engaging my core, lifting my head and shoulders up. So I was almost like curling around into like a C-shaped position. Chin was down, I was curling around and pushing. Anyway, where was I? So as soon as the head came out, the midwife said to me, the next push you do will be, your baby will be here. And I didn't believe her. I don't know why I didn't believe her, but I just didn't believe it would be like that. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. So I gave one big almighty push and he came flying out. And the feeling, and that bit didn't even hurt. Like, it just, the body just comes out, and it's amazing. And then they put him on me, and he was all good. He was, like I said, 8 pounds 1, so he was quite a big baby. Had a little cone head, because he had been in the birth canal, which went away within about an hour, so totally normal. I was bleeding a lot, but I was totally ignorant to it. I didn't even know what was going on. I was just happy that my baby was in my arms. And I remember, I think I said to my partner, oh my god, I love him so much. And I looked at my partner, I was like, do you love him? And he was like, yeah, I love him. And I was like, oh my god, we love baby. Because you do hear that some women don't have that instant love for their baby, which is totally normal. And I thought that maybe me as well, but I did. I absolutely loved him straight away. Anyway, so the midwife was then like, can we give you that injection that we spoke about at the beginning, because you are bleeding a lot and we just want to, I don't know, get things moving or whatever. So they gave me that injection, gave the placenta a few pushes, which is such a weird sensation after you've just pushed a baby out. You don't really want to do any pushing down there. But anyway, that was fine. Pushed out the placenta. I lost 500 millilitres of blood, and I was on the borderline going to have a transfusion, but luckily I didn't have to. So yeah, that was that. Then he was here. So I did 1 hour of pushing, and he was here. He was born at 5:40 p.m. on the 18th of June, and the best thing about after giving birth to him, obviously after holding him and being with him, was the sweaty cheese sandwich that I ordered in the day. I had someone come around and take a food order in the day, and I did not want to eat at all. I was like, oh, I'll have a cheese sandwich, and I'd forgotten about it. And honestly, they offer you tea and toast, but I didn't want tea or toast. I don't really drink tea, and I'm not really interested in toast. But I remembered about the cheese sandwich, and it was white bread, butter, sweaty cheese, and it was so good. It literally still makes me salivate now. It was so good. So I had that, and then Craig went and got us burgers. So I had a burger, and then I started eating all my snacks that I never ate in labour. So I had some Kinder Buenos and some protein bars and Lucozade. So I kind of ate all my snacks after the labour, not during. During labour, I ate walnuts and dried apricots just to try and keep my energy levels up a little bit. But yeah, so that's it. That was it. And then I stayed in hospital overnight. He needed to be monitored because I think when I had the epidural, my blood pressure went down. No, did it? Yeah, my blood pressure went down significantly, and his heart rate dropped also significantly, and so we had some drugs given to us, or to me, sorry. So he had to be monitored for his blood sugar levels for 24 hours. So we were in hospital for 24 hours, but I was really lucky again when we went onto the ward that evening. So we stayed in our room until about 10 or 11, and then went on to the ward. And there was only one other mum and her baby there, so it was just really quiet, and yeah, it was just an amazing experience, really. My partner went home to get some sleep, so he came back the next day and helped me. So that's what happened. We didn't sleep at all that night. I guess like adrenaline. He didn't want to be put down. I didn't feel comfortable falling asleep with him in my arms. And funny enough, he still doesn't like to be put down. He still likes to sleep on me. So yeah, we didn't get much sleep. Although at 4 a.m. I was like, sod this, I need to sleep. I'm falling asleep, but I had him in my arms, he wouldn't go down. So I sort of propped myself up with my pregnancy pillow and propped him up, and it was fine. We had a couple of hours sleep, and then I think about 6 a.m. I called my partner, or 7 a.m. or something. I was like, can you come over now? So he did, he came back. And then we just spent the day in hospital. It was a sweat box. It was really, really hot. And the ward got really busy. So yeah, just really lucky that we had such a quiet ward the night I was in there. And then what happened? That was it, really. Just pottering around in hospital. I should say I did have to have some stitches. I had a second-degree tear and had some stitches, which were fine. They inject you, numb it all, get the stitches in. What else? I think that's it. I had a really great experience, and I am eternally grateful for the experience I had, because I know a lot of women don't always get what they want, and it doesn't always go according to plan, but my birth went absolutely according to plan. My midwife was amazing. I asked her how old she was. She was like, I'm 22. I was like, oh my God, what? I said, not that you look older, but you seem older. She was 22. She was the most amazing person. And also, I probably fell in love with her a little bit more because she lives in a van on the seafront, which is obviously my absolute dream. And if you know, I had a van and sold it when I got pregnant because I needed to get a proper grown-up car and not be driving around an old van. But anyway, van life is something I love, and the fact that she lives in a van on the seafront, I was like, she's so cool. I love that for her, really, really cool. Anyway, that's it. I think that's it. So that was my birth. And yeah, I think I'm just gonna leave it there. So my plan over the next few months is to start filming a little bit more of my YouTube channel. I want to do like a sort of getting back into shape post-birth, what I'm eating, what I'm doing. I'm not doing any exercise at the moment at all, but I am walking. But I'm mostly focusing on just nourishing my body and eating really well. So I'm going to try and start posting some shorts on that, so watch out for them. And yeah, tomorrow I will be 4 weeks postpartum, so I'm going to do a little body shot as well. Mostly for myself, because I like to come back and have a look at where I was at. But I tell you now, I gained 22 kilos in my pregnancy. And when he was born, I lost 4 kilos. And then I lost another 6 kilos within about a week. And I guess that was like water retention and stuff. And now I am 64 kilos. So I was 55 kilos when I got pregnant. I'm 64 now. And I'm actually in a pair of dungarees that are a little bit snug. So my clothes are still a bit tight, but I'm feeling happy with the way things are going. I'm also being really mindful and kind to myself. Before anyone tells me that I should be mindful and kind to myself, I am. But it's really important to me to nourish my body, be in good shape, feel good about myself, and stuff like that. So yeah, I am working towards getting back down to 55 or thereabouts. Anywhere between 55 and 60 is great. And can't remember what I was saying, lost my train of thought. Yeah, I'm going to do some shorts on what I'm eating and what I'm doing and how I'm getting back into shape. So if you're interested, make sure you subscribe and follow along. I have also become an affiliate for a Reformer Pilates at home company, and I'm going to be doing some Reformer Pilates as well once I've had the 6-week or 8-week all clear green light from the GP. I'm going to be, I can't get my words out today, I'm so slow, sorry. I'm going to be doing some Reformer Pilates, so check out the comments because I will put a link to God, my head. I'll put a link to the Reformer company that I am an affiliate for, and you can get 15% off, I think it works out to be like £89 if you use my code, which is so good, especially if you are now like me and you've got a little baby at home, you love Reformer Pilates but you can't get out the house. You can do it online with me, and in October I'm going to start doing live online classes on Gemma Kit Lifestyle on the platform, so check that out as well. Stay tuned, check out the comments below. I will put a link below with my discount code, and I'm going to get recording in 4 weeks. In a few weeks time I'm going to get recording, so stay tuned. Thank you for listening to my birth story. If you've got any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I'm going to say it one more time, I'm super grateful for the experience I had. I know a lot of women don't get that experience, so I'm very, very grateful, and it has, yeah, I just feel very, very positive about it all, and we've had an amazing journey so far. And I'll probably do another video on motherhood so far as well. So yeah, stay tuned and see you soon. Bye.